just want to make sure. Hey guys, I just wanted to make this video to reach someone who is actually trying to experience what it is like to be homeless. Um, if you're not trying to experience it and you just want to know, well, I'm going to give you the pros and cons of staying safe when you are homeless. You know, where to go, what to look for, how to do things. Okay. So rule number one, if you are in a homeless situation and you feel like you don't have anywhere to go to your nearest shelter. Your city, your town, wherever the nearest men's shelter is. There are shelters for men that house only men. There are some shelters that house only women. There are some shelters that house men and women. And there are some shelters that house families. Salvation armies and YMCA's are starting to take initiative and bringing people in their own communities. And if you think about it, it's from all over the world. The Department of Social Services has a program to where they help people get back home or to a place where they are able to gain more um, um, establishment there, nutritional wise and everything. However, if you are consider taking things with you, try to take one bag because you are going to be out there and you never know. You might have to come to a point to where you're going to need to run. You might need to come to a point, and this is not to scare you. You're not going to have to run. Trust me. Just as long as you don't go in areas that don't look right, just stay out of those areas. Don't fear so much about going um, in a homeless shelter because that is your best solution when you don't have family or friends or anyone to stay with. The shelter is your best friend, your best step up, your best motivated process right there. Besides the faith that you have of going out, you may need to focus on being creative. Okay, you have to, not may, you have to be creative. If you don't have no money at all, nothing, not a dime to your pocket, okay, this is your time now to try to collect as you move. Collect as you move. Don't be looking um, too bad, because you never know who may be there to help you. And not only that, some people um, get their help with the people that they know, and some people get their help from strangers. You don't have to make it a big issue, a big deal. You don't have to make it known that you're out there homeless and trying to, make a living. Because everyone around you is trying to make a living as well. They may not tell you that they're homeless. That's another thing about being homeless because some people you don't even know that they are because they don't dress like it, they don't act like it, they don't smell like it. They still collect the morals that they have and bring them up forth to the table. They don't let that type of stuff go. Because that's really important. Um, when you go inside of a shelter, you need to make sure that you are finding someone who is there to help assist you gain employment. You want to go look for a job. Get yourself an ID. Find programs that will pay for you to get your ID and your social security card. There are many programs that will assist you with aid they'll just pay it for you. As long as you're actually going up there to do the application for the job or to fill out this form to get your ID or a license or something like that. You need to understand that you are in this to win for you. And it's going to take some time, not a long time. It's going to take some time, like literally within the first couple days, because you are utilizing resources that is given to you in order for you to establish yourself and just get back on your feet. Um, there's so many people that you wouldn't even believe that are homeless, that are in the shelter. There's so many people that you wouldn't even believe that are driving these expensive cars, um, or has this job, or always have, flashy money, or buying the latest. These people, you will be surprised when you see them inside of a shelter. You ask, why are you there, or why are you here? Don't you have this nice car, and blah blah blah. People just utilize the shelter because that's a resource. If you think about it, if you're staying at a shelter and you're working, you're not paying any rent. You're saving all your money in order for you to get back on your feet. That's way more easy because you already have to wait a week in a hole for you to get your first paycheck. So why would you see what I'm saying? Why would you want to sit there and put yourself through all of that stress when you can lighten yourself up just a little bit? It's not that big of a deal. It's enabling you to prosper. And if you are the type of person that prays to God about things, and you're a religious person, and you know that things may not be just a piece of cake, but you do know that it's things out there, and people out there that's going to help you get things to where you need it, especially where you need to be. And I think that's the best advice to give, is to tell you to be smart, okay, be genuine, okay, and study yourself and know when it's time for you to use a resource that's going to enable you. They feed you. They feed you. Most shelters I know fed breakfast, lunch, and dinner Monday through Sunday. Okay, the shelter that I went to like 3 different shelters in my life. Excuse me, no, I went to 2 different shelters in my life, but it was more than once. It was more than twice. More than 3 times. Put it like that. It was more than 3 times. And they gave you, fed you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They gave you a bed to sleep in. They gave you toiletry items to get yourself cleaned up. They have caseworkers there to help you find a job and get housing. They're going to pay for your assistance. And all these, but transportation, bus passes, bicycles, doctor visits and appointments, checkups, anything that you need to establish yourself, those are resources that shelters have. And a lot of people wouldn't dare stepping foot inside of a shelter because, for one, it's embarrassing. For 2, they don't want to be around strangers. For 3, they don't want to, they just don't want to do it. That's just not something that they feel like, they don't feel comfortable and safe in being around a whole bunch of people that's in that same type of category, who's going through the same thing, if not worse. But again, you never know who may be in the shelter, who may be homeless. There's some people right now who have houses and still go to the shelter. There's a guy right now who has a house paid for and a car, and he still goes to the shelter. Why? Because at that point in time, he needed the opportunity to be by himself and save whatever it was in order for him to do what he needed to do. No one else could tell him what he needed to do. Only he could do that because he knew himself more than the next person. So you know yourself more than the next person. So that's why it's more important for you to stay in tune with what your capabilities are and what you're able to do, because who knows what you can manifest with the gift that you have already. You can manifest so much stuff to happen for you. And I do want something to happen for you because this is a world where things are moving fast and people come and go, and I don't want to see you be overlooked for a talent that you have. Whoever I'm speaking to, whoever I'm talking to, if you are literally seeking advice to try to find establishment with either housing, employment, trying to gain a better health, or just needing someone to support you with whatever you're trying to get um, justice for, you might the best bet is for you to use your resources, because nothing hurts more than not being able to use a resource to get your feet up on um, just to get up on your feet, and knowing that that was something that required you to use very little of, if none at all, effort. All you have to do is just show up at a shelter. Um, Tell them that you would like to have a bed, ask for a bed. If they don't have a bed, they may have one another place, at another shelter. But you go to a shelter, you tell them that you want to, you tell them your situation, whatever situation it is. And you don't have to be really long. You can if you want. It can be really brief. Just let's make sure it's like brief, and they know that you are literally there for a few nights. It could be a couple weeks or a few weeks. They give you, a lot of shelters give you to at least a year or 6 months or 5 months to stay there, but that's more than enough. And it's way more safer to be in a shelter than to be out there on a street. When people walking by and anything could happen, you at least want to be under a roof where you can be protected and take a shower and can be safe from the rain and things like that. Because I mean, I would not dare want to see myself out there on the streets. Like, I really would not. I would, if I could not find a shelter in one city, I'm going to another shelter. I'm serious. I will not. I slept outside one time, and that was like in 2016, my first time ever being homeless. I slept outside. I didn't even have a tent. I had not even a sleeping bag. I had a I had a suitcase full of a whole bunch of stuff and another bag, which was the wrong idea, because if I was going to be homeless and traveling around like that, that I got tired of carrying that heavy suitcase. Like, I got tired of carrying it around. I eventually just threw everything in the trash. I threw everything in the trash. I don't care if I just paid for it. I threw it all in the trash because I needed to be lightened up. I needed to be loose, and I've been attached to that. And I felt so much better. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in another city. I just threw all my stuff away. Now I can walk around and stuff, because when I got off the Amtrak train, I first went to Charlotte, and I got off the Amtrak train in Charlotte, North Carolina. And when I got off the Amtrak train, I stood at the Amtrak station all like for hours, like more than 5 hours. And I was trying to find the nearest men's shelter, and I was going to the men's shelter in Charlotte. But at that time, I could not get in because they needed me to prove that I've been homeless for at least 5 days or 5 weeks. I'm like, wait a minute. Here I am, homeless, trying to get a place to stay, trying to get a bed for a few nights, and the homeless shelter tells me that I need to prove to them that I'm homeless, and I'm coming to them for help, saying I need a bed, but I need to prove to them that I'm homeless. What else do you need for me to prove other than the fact that I showed up at a homeless shelter? But I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Long story short, so I couldn't go to that shelter. I ended up leaving, throwing all my stuff away because I was carrying my luggage, and everything that I tried to move out of another city and start a whole new, life with. I had all this stuff. I just threw it all in the trash. So when I threw it all in the trash, I felt lightened, and I was like, okay, I'm finna just take a walk. And so I started walking, and I was like, okay, yes, now this is more better. Now I can see myself going up that street and up 14th Street, a little bit more, and I can travel more now, and I can think more now because I don't have a lot of stuff I'm carrying. So that has a toll on you when you're homeless and you have some stuff. with you, belongings and their personal things, and you have to carry all that stuff. That'll just drain you, guys. Try to take one bag with you and make sure it is everything that you need. Like, I have a bald head, so when I travel with my backpack. Um, get myself a backpack, okay, and then that's when you grab clippers. See, I have clippers that I cut my hair with. I put that in my backpack. All type of stuff that I need, like Carmex, and just anything, like a hand mirror. So when I'm in the bathroom cutting my hair, I need to be able to see, because I cut my own, so I need to be able to see when I'm cutting my hair, and blah blah blah. Soap and all that stuff. Toiletry items, cell phone charger, bottled water, a little bit of snack to eat, something like that. Have yourself some. You don't have to go broke, but try to get yourself some money before you start, traveling somewhere without nothing, because this is really serious, guys. And I've been homeless more than once, and I've actually and I thank God so much that I am not homeless anymore. But still, I am still considering myself um um in the works of helping other people figure out their next move when it comes to advice when you're trying to leave an area and you don't have anyone but yourself. I am speaking for people like you. I'm speaking to you, okay? Um, you may not need that time to where you're homeless. You may not have that opportunity. You may not really need help. You may not need me. You may not. But just in case, you know, um, you need help and you don't have anybody out there to help you, seeking a shelter is like, it's like saying you love you. Because if you didn't, you would be out and just like with nobody. And I don't want to see you guys out there and an animal coming out of the middle of nowhere biting you and you get rabies and stuff. And then you got plans and goals and hopes and dreams and you can't even make it now because you're going to have to suffer from this about what happened. So why not just go ahead and just protect yourself and stay inside of a facility that will let you have a roof, food, water, shower, bed, and everything like that. You'll be surprised at the amount of people that you see in the shelter. Don't be overwhelmed. Some people go in the shelter and come straight out within the first week because they was on their grind. Like they found a job the first day or two. Within the first 3 days that the people within the staff, they had resources, finding jobs and things like that. Those are the type of people that go in a shelter and come out that same week because they are not lazy. They are motivated. They are they do not want to live in that lifestyle. They want to use that as a tool to leave. That's the only thing. And I highly suggest you guys to start putting yourself first when it comes to being homeless, because you guys is putting something else before you in order for you to get in that situation. If you think about it, you've been putting everything else before you, and now that's why you are in that situation. If you put yourself before others, then you'll be able to get them some help because they see where you stand. So then you'll be able enough to help them because you are helped. But don't be not helped and help them and then you end up needing help. You want to be helped and then help the ones who need help. Therefore, if they leave, you don't need no help because you got it. You see what I'm saying? But you can at least thank yourself because you helped them when they didn't. Boom. But don't be that person to help when you need help yourself. that'll just be like out the middle of nowhere. That'll just be throwing your whole responsibility, goals, morals, and standards of your home self out the window. It'll just be throwing it out the window. But seriously, um, I'm just so thankful that I have not been injured or hurt out there. I've been in the Greensboro shelter, Urban Ministries, Weaver House. I've been there like twice, and I've got plenty of jobs out of there. Got me my own place out of there, you know, and they signed me a they paid for my rent up to a year. Well, it was less than a year. So I was on my own after that. Then I ended up losing my job and I had to keep my place. So I ended up having to move eventually. I went back in the shelter. But I did not utilize it like I wasn't supposed to utilize it. Like I still utilized it the same way I utilized it the first time. This is me, like it was me out there on my own trying to do things on my own. So I did a pretty good job. You know, I've went in the shelter, I've got established, I've used the resources, and I got my job and I left. Boom. There'll be some people that you see that come in and out of shelter that are still going to be there, and that's been there before you even got there, and they continue the same thing over and over again, and it's so sad because you think about like what happened in their life that they are now homeless. You know what went wrong, what went downhill, what went sour. Um, I would not ever in my life want anyone to experience that, what that feels like, because that's not an easy feeling. If to some people it's difficult, you know, some people enjoy the um, the outdoors or the fact that you know they are out there traveling with nothing and anything that they need to survive they're going to get it along the way, and they're going to have so much fun traveling and meeting people and things. You know, some people just don't, you know, some people have that type of vibe in them. That's really good, especially if you're homeless, because it's been a time to where I was homeless, and um I've had people say some pretty nice things to me that they felt like there's no way I was telling the truth that I was homeless. Like one guy, I was in Charlotte. One guy, I was standing outside. I think really what I was waiting on. Oh yeah, I was waiting for the next morning, but I didn't want. I couldn't get in the shelter, so I had to stay at the Amtrak station. That's why I kept there. I stayed at the Amtrak station for like hours. So this guy came out of the middle of nowhere, and he says, "Excuse me, sir. Do you mind? Please, I'm homeless. Do you mind, please, let me get $5 or $10? I'm really hungry. I don't have nowhere else to turn right now." And I'm looking at him like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm scared in my head because for one, he thinks I got money. He's going to rob me. That's number one. For two, um, you can't tell him that you do have anything because then he's going to rob you if you do. You see. And then for three, I had to stop and think. I was like, Chris, what is wrong with you? You're homeless too. Tell him that you're homeless too. So I went ahead and told him. I said, I'm so sorry to hear that. I have to be honest with you. I'm homeless too myself. I don't have anywhere to go either. You know, and then he looked at me like I was crazy. And then he looked at me, and then I can tell that he looked at me like he was shocked. Like, oh, like, yeah, okay, I'm homeless too, but I'm not out here panhandling saying, excuse me, can I have this, that, and the third? Now, I have asked somebody for something one time, but not when I was not out there panhandling, but like, can I have blah blah blah? I don't never, and then talk bad about and you know, a whole bunch of stuff, and I never do. And why? Because that's gonna make I'm not gonna feel good about how other people had characterized um my attitude. I don't want people to do that, and I don't want. Yeah, I just that's just something that I just never float right with me. I just don't want that to happen. So I've never really cared too much about overreacting when it came to um, that, something like that. Um, but do not have, well, I can't say do not. Well, I guess I can just give it to you. It's all the pros and cons. Okay. Number one, stay by yourself. Number two, you don't have any friends. Okay. Number three, you can meet people along the way, but keep it moving. Okay. Number four, you're going to have to budget, 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 budget. You're going to need to eat cheap as hell. I mean literally. You have to go buy a $1 pack of ramen noodles and have six in there and do what you do, then just do it. But just think about this. Instead of spending money, save it. Okay? Because you're homeless. You don't know if you're going to be in your spot at that time. You don't know that. And you don't know if the person behind you or in front of you is going to help you. So you're going to be out here by yourself. So you're going to have to eat and you're going to have to find out how you're going to survive. I tell you right now, you having food in your stomach is going to be all the medicine that your brain needs. You need to be happy too at the end of the day, but you need to start feeding yourself because when I get hungry, I'm not the same me. Like I get like, you know, when I'm hungry, I am just like I'm not even thinking the same. But when I finally got some food in my stomach, I feel so much better and I'm thinking differently. This and the third, I can sacrifice my feelings when I'm hungry and I don't have no food. I know how to act, but still, um, don't be too what's the word prideful. That's my grandma's word. Don't be too prideful and not get free resources when you can get it. Because food stamps, anybody can get food stamps now. The first month you are required, you are qualified, um, emergency food stamp or not, you are qualified by law to get the first month for free. That's everybody. So whenever your food gets low and you have no more food stamps or no more money to pay for food, you need to start, or even if you do have money to pay for food, don't use that. You need to start using your brain. Start finding other ways to go get money. To go get food to that's free. You have to do that because you're homeless and who's going to help you get out of your homeless? You see what I'm saying? You're homeless right now. So why would someone who is that person who is helping you right now if you're homeless? Like who's like right there? Right, nobody. So you might need to just start using, and I'm not going to keep using this word might. You have to start using your creativity because that is going to be your best friend. Creativity and survival mode go hand in hand. The worst thing that people do is get into survival mode and they don't have a budget. They don't know how to be creative. They can't use their mind to do this and that. They can't, and other people have to find their food and this and a place to stay and things like that. But you want to be able to find your own place and to get your own self established without using someone else. And if you do use someone else, that's even good. That's even better because you have a resource that you can build on. Most people who don't have those resources. So just think about that, guys. Really, it's not a shame that you have to go to a shelter. Um, it is a blessing that you have to go to a shelter. Because I couldn't even recall the last time I seen someone homeless and did not use the resources around them. I haven't seen no one do it. So, and I don't want to see you not do it. You know, um, unless you've got money saved up and you can just go out a bit of nowhere and just do that. Okay, good for you. But some people, need to start from the very bottom, and so it's not for you to look down on and to look like, I don't want you to look at yourself like you are not valuable enough because of your situation and where you're in. Because 9 times out of 10, the person that you think have the most doesn't, and they need your help more than ever. So, and even if it's not giving them um, something, it's what you can say verbally that can change their mind, or what you can do to yourself that changes your appearance that makes them want to change as well. So just think about that. And I would not dare sleep in an abandoned house or sleep out there on the street, because an abandoned house is dangerous and out there on the streets is dangerous. Try to find yourself somewhere to stay so you won't have to be smelly or looking smelly, or you get my drift. Yeah, just do that. Find your nearest shelter as soon as you can. If you go into another state, and that's a really big move. If you go into another state and you don't have anything, find a shelter in that state. Don't matter. Find a shelter in that state, because you'll be safer than you think you would. You'll be 99.9% more safer in a shelter than you would be at an abandoned house or out on the street under a bridge in the wooded area in a tent somewhere. At least you have the government watching you that's going to aid you while you're there, instead of you being out on the street and not aided. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're begging out there in the street, but when you come in the shelter, you're not begging. They're just giving it to you. So just think about that, guys. I had to use the shelter to get myself where I am today. I had to. I went and ended up getting a job, my own place, a license, and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Like, and things do happen. I did get fired from a job. Well, it wasn't a fire. I say fired because to me, I like to call it that, because I think anytime you end someone's assignment, I feel like that's like a fire. So, but they said it's not a fire. I'm gonna put it up there, but I got my own say so. He ended my assignment for 90 days, and I highly doubt um, that I'll be back over there. Even if they want me to come back, my 90 days are up. I'm not going back over there. I'm not. I'm not. I might. Now, if they take me back, they didn't say they didn't want to take me back now, but I'll go. I'll go back around more. But if some people there, well, if my boss is still there, then that's going to be an issue. But there's another department that I can work in. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Um, get in a shelter or get with someone that is trustworthy. If you don't want to put yourself through that phase of trying to figure out if this person is right for me, or is that person good enough for me to stay in this, that, and the third, just go ahead into a shelter and take yourself in, and stop putting other people before you for a change. Put yourself first for a change. Get yourself established and stop worrying about other people getting you established. Yeah, they're going to help you along the way, but when you go into a shelter and get established, you tell them that you want to survive. When you do that, you tell them that you want to live. Really, you tell them that you care about yourself and you care about your well-being and you want to be responsible. That's exactly what it says. It says that you want to be responsible if you can do all of that. Bye, guys. See you guys. It's really nice talking to you. It really is. I kind of went over, start talking about this, start talking about that, but I hope that you guys were not bored about this video. I really don't want to bore anybody. See ya.